So, picture this. You are walking down the street, completely lost in your own thoughts, just minding your own business, and then you see it.
Oh, let me guess. A $20 bill.
Exactly. A crisp $20 bill just sitting there on the sidewalk waiting for you. Or, maybe you're in the drive-through line on a rough Tuesday morning and the barista leans out and says the person ahead of you already paid for your coffee.
Oh, I love when that happens. It's the best feeling.
Right. What goes through your mind in that exact fleeting moment? If you're like most of us, you get that little spike of dopamine. You smile, you look around, and you think, wow, it's my lucky day.
Yeah, you just take the freebie and assume the universe gave you a high five.
Exactly. You enjoy the caffeine and go on with your life. But as I was reading through the sources for today's deep dive, I came across a perspective that honestly completely shattered that innocent assumption.
It really does. It's a pretty heavy paradigm shift.
It is, because what if that random moment of good luck was actually a cosmic dip that you just incurred? What if there is absolutely, fundamentally, no such thing as a free lunch anywhere in the entire universe?
Yeah, it's an unsettling premise to drop on a free cup of coffee, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we are so conditioned to view life as this chaotic sequence of random events,
Right.
like a slot machine of good luck, bad luck, timing.
Right, just pure coincidence.
Exactly. But the text we are looking at today argues that randomness is a complete illusion. There's zero randomness.
And that is the philosophical rabbit hole we are jumping down today. So we're exploring a text from 2011, and it's titled All Gains Must Be Paid. It's written by Sifeng, translated by Treasure, and edited by Kyer.
And going into this, you might expect some light karmic life advice, but the central thesis here is incredibly rigid. It doesn't pull any punches at all.
No, it really doesn't. It essentially argues that the cosmos does not do favors. It never hands out gifts. Every single interaction, every gain, every loss is mathematically balanced out on a universal zero-sum ledger.
If you gain something, a payment is instantly logged into your account.
Right. Okay, let's unpack this, because before we look at human behavior, we kind of need to understand the macro-level physics of this philosophy.
Yeah, the mechanics of it are fascinating.
Because when we say ledger, it sounds like, I don't know, a guy in the clouds with a calculator. But imagine the universe as a relentless, perfect accountant where the sum of all positive and negative energy must always perfectly equal zero.
That accountant analogy is great because it gets to the strict rules of it. The text lays this out as an ironclad, inescapable law. If you get something, you must pay for it.
And conversely, if you pay for something, you're guaranteed to get a reward. They always balance out.
Always. And to explain the scale of how this works, the author uses a very grounded material example. Think about walking into a jewelry store.
Oh, the gemstone example. Yeah, let's look at how that actually scales. Because it's not just about spending money, right?
Right. It's about the metaphysical weight of what you're asking for. So if you stand at a jewelry counter and look at an equal weight of different gemstones, they obviously don't cost the same.
Right. A diamond demands a much, much higher price than a ruby or an emerald.
Exactly. If you want the ruby, you pay a certain manageable amount. But if you want the diamond, you have to completely empty your pockets. The underlying mechanism here is that to acquire something truly precious, a significantly higher price is mandatory.
The universe does not offer discounts on diamonds.
No discounts at all. Obtaining more precious things requires you to endure heavier costs.
Which, makes total sense when we are standing at a literal jewelry counter with price tags. But then the author zooms out to human society as a whole. And honestly, looking at the news, human society does not look like a perfectly balanced jewelry store.
It really doesn't. And the text actually acknowledges this. It says society might seem confusing and complicated on its surface, like it's totally out of order.
Yeah, it looks deeply chaotic and unfair. We see terrible people getting away with things and hardworking people getting nothing.
Right. But the text insists this chaos is just an optical illusion. It argues that if you use careful, long-term observation, you'll find this ironclad rule humming away underneath everything. What is gained exactly equals what is paid.
Okay, but if life is this inescapable ledger, what currency are we actually trading in? Because if it were just dollars and cents, we could track it.
What's fascinating here is that we aren't just trading in material goods. This is where the philosophy crosses over into a deeply spiritual framework. It's a cross-currency exchange.
A cross-currency exchange.
Yeah. The text points out that material payments don't always yield material rewards. The boundaries are totally porous.
Oh, I see. So you might make a material payment, like losing money, and the universe balances that by giving you a mental or spiritual gain.
Exactly. Or, going the other direction, a deep emotional sacrifice might eventually manifest as a material reward.
That cross-currency mechanism is where the text gets really poetic. There's a specific line the author uses. What is lost at sunrise will be gained at sunset, and what is gained at sunrise will be lost at sunset.
It implies this continuous, unavoidable rhythm. If you pull something toward yourself in the morning, something else gets stripped away by evening to maintain the balance.
And the specific trade-offs the text lists are so surprising. Like, it says if you gain money, you have to pay for it with something else from your life's inventory.
Right, like your physical labor, which we all understand, we work a job for a paycheck.
But if the money comes without labor, what pays for it? The text says it might cost you your reputation or your internal peace or even your life.
You get the bag of cash, but the universe balances the ledger by slowly draining away your peace of mind.
But it flows the opposite way too, right? When you pay money or lose money against your will, something must be gained to balance that out.
Exactly. That financial loss might actually buy your comfort or physical safety. You might gain fame, status, physical beauty, or honor, just as a direct result of a material loss.
I really want to pause and linger on that because I think this is one of the most profound insights in the entire text. The author asserts that loss of money avoids other misfortune.
It completely reframes how we experience setbacks, doesn't it?
It really does. Under this framework, if you walk out to your car and find a flat tire and you suddenly have to drop $400 you didn't plan on spending, you shouldn't just stand there despairing.
Because in our normal worldview, that flat tire is just random cruelty.
Yeah, just the universe punishing us for no reason.
But according to the Universal Ledger, that sudden loss of $400 is a mandatory payment that just cleared a debt.
Mhm.
Because you made that payment, you just avoided some other potentially devastating misfortune.
That is such a wild way to think about it. It acts as a built-in cosmic insurance policy. You don't even know you're paying the premiums.
Right. Losing that money might have bought your continued physical health or prevented a catastrophic accident later that afternoon.
So suddenly, dropping your phone and shattering the screen isn't just a frustrating accident, it's preventing an invisible loss that was heading your way.
Exactly. The ledger balanced itself.
But, okay, wait. I have to push back here. Because this raises a glaring real-world question. We all look around the world and see seemingly terrible people winning and good people suffering.
The classic real-world injustice problem.
Yes. If the universe immediately balances the books, why do people suddenly suffer catastrophes or hardships seemingly out of nowhere? Why are innocent people suffering while the bad guys are on yachts?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the answer comes down to the timeline of the accounting. The text answers this very bluntly. People suffered pain because they have gained something previously.
Wait, really? The pain isn't random?
No, the text says it's the delayed bill finally coming due for a past gain that was never paid for.
Wow. That is a tough pill to swallow. It basically says nobody is a victim of random circumstance. But I assume the reverse is true for happiness.
It is. Why do people receive sudden grace or unexplainable joy? Because they have paid heavily in the past. The joy is the delayed return on a past hardship.
But the delay can be so agonizingly long that we completely lose track of the transaction. And this is where the scope of the text expands far beyond a single human lifespan.
Right, because you can't judge this accounting over a short period. You can't look at a wink or even an 80-year lifetime and say the math doesn't add up.
The text actually states that you might need to judge the karma of 3 incarnations to see the final balanced equation. 3 whole lifetimes.
That multi-lifetime perspective answers your yacht problem. That corrupt person who seems to be hoarding gains. The ledger just hasn't closed yet. The bill is inescapable, whether it hits them at the end of this life or in future incarnations.
And to prove that this isn't just some modern niche theory, the author actually pulls from several major world religions as evidence for this law.
Yeah, the text surveys different traditions to show this law in action. For instance, it points to Islamic tradition.
Right, noting that Allah warned humanity through the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that if all desires are met in this life, none will remain for the afterlife.
Which is a perfect encapsulation of the zero-sum ledger. If you aggressively pull all your positive energy into this mortal time frame, your account is drained for the next stage.
And the author brings in Eastern philosophy too, mentioning Tao. The text states that while you might escape a blow in the mortal world, You cannot escape punishment from Tao in heaven.
Meaning you might dodge the earthly consequences, but the natural physics of the universe will always correct the imbalance.
So, bringing this massive multi-incarnational philosophy back down to Earth, what does this all mean? How are you actually supposed to live your life day to day with this knowledge?
This raises an important question about human nature, doesn't it? Because our default is to look for a shortcut. We want maximum gain for minimum effort.
Always. But the author's warnings are incredibly strict. He says never fish in troubled waters, never profit from others' misfortunes.
And the biggest warning of all, take absolutely nothing for free.
Which completely defies how we network and exist in modern society. The text states you cannot profit at the expense of others, and it gets so specific. You can't take freebies from your parents, you can't profit off your offspring or your bosses.
You shouldn't even accept donations. If someone offers you a gift you didn't pay for with your own energy, the text suggests that accepting it artificially inflates your gains.
Meaning a loss is now barreling toward you to balance the scale. It even drills down into romantic relationships. It specifically calls out that spouses and lovers should never expect freebies from one another.
Even in the depths of romance, the universal ledger is running. You have to meet your own needs.
Which all leads to the core mantra of the entire text. It's simple. Pay more, gain less.
Pay more, gain less. It's the exact opposite of what society teaches us. But the text offers a profound reassurance here. Once you pay, whether through hard work or sacrifice, don't worry. The gain is absolutely inevitable. It's a physical law.
But if you gain something, don't be complacent, right?
Yep.
Because a loss is coming.
Exactly. You can escape it in the short run, but not forever. And the text notes the ultimate extreme of this rule. Reaching the kingdom of heaven requires dedicating your entire body and soul.
You hold nothing back. So to briefly recap our journey today, we've gone from looking at the universe as chaotic to visualizing this strict zero-sum ledger.
Right, where material payments can equal spiritual gains, and where the safest strategy is to actively pay more and gain less.
And what I appreciate is that Shueming states he is merely acting as a guide of human life. He leaves these words for the reader to, quote, inspect, test, and verify in her own experience.
An invitation to audit your own cosmic ledger.
Exactly. So here is the final challenge for you to mull over today.
Look at your own life ledger. That recent hardship you're dealing with, could it just be a down payment for a massive future gain?
And what about that recent freebie you celebrated? Yeah. Think back to that $20 bill or that free coffee. If all gains must be paid, what exactly is that cup of coffee going to cost you by sunset? Time and results will tell. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.